Hello and welcome back to Tasha Could Make That. I'm back for more on the Wondrella knit along to talk all about customizations to the pattern. Even if you're not participating in the knit along, you might find something useful in this video as I walk through some basic knitting modifications. There's a lot to cover today, so let's get to it. If you missed the intro video to the Wondrella knit along, it's my latest vintage inspired pattern and I'm running a knit along for it. I'll put a card in the upper right corner for the intro. So you've got your yarn, you've swatched, you've looked at the schematic, so let's jump into customizations that you might want to make for your version. Yes, there will be math, but I promise it won't be difficult. And the good news is that there's basically examples of every single thing I'm going to walk through today in the pattern itself written out. So if written instructions are easier for you, you can refer to those instead or use those in tandem with today's video. For all these examples in the video, I'm going to use size 41.25 as our example size for all the measurements I'm going to do. So let's talk about some of the ways you might want to customize your Wondrella. We'll look at the peekaboo slit neck first. The length of this neckline opening varies slightly depending on size. You might want it a little bit lower or a little bit higher depending on the position and fullness of your bust, or just basically what you prefer. So take the measurement given in the schematic for the front neck depth and then compare that to your own body. Okay, so this part is easiest to do in a bra, but you're getting a t-shirt from me. So you're going to measure the front neck drop on yourself that's written in the pattern. For my size, that's 7 inches. For our sample size, I think that's 7¼ inches. So it's easiest to do if you take a clip of some sort, binder clip, paper clip, I have a quilter's clip here, and clip it just below that measurement line. So when you put the tape against yourself, you can see it without having to try and see the number and look down at the same time. So where that clip falls is going to be approximately where the front neck slit opening is going to end. So for me, you can kind of just see it's just at the top of my cleavage. That's exactly where I wanted it. For me personally, you might want it a little bit higher, a little bit lower. And so here's how you'll change that if you want to. Okay, so what if you measure that and it turns out that the neckline is a little bit higher than what you want? Say you'd like to lower it just about an inch lower for a little bit more of a dramatic peekaboo. What you're going to do is move the start of the neckline edging down by 1 inch in the slit neckline edging section of the pattern. So you need to figure out how many rows that's going to be to lower 1 inch. Multiply 1 inch by our row gauge, which is 7.5 rows per inch. And you can get the row gauge by dividing the row gauge in the pattern, which is over 4 inches, divide that by 4. So 30 rows an inch over 4 is 7.5. So that's our row gauge, and we'll use that number when we're calculating this. So we're just multiplying that, our row gauge, by the number of inches we want to raise or lower. So in our case, that is 1 inch lower. So obviously, that's an easy one for this. So 7.5. Obviously, you cannot have a partial row, so you're going to want to round this up or down to the next closest even number, so we're always landing on right side rows. So I'm just going to round this up to 8. That means we're going to lower the beginning of the slit neckline edging section by 8 rows. Next thing you do, you need to look at how many rows of stockinette the slit neckline edging section has before you actually start the edging. So it has you work stockinette for this example size 41.25 for 18 rows. That means normally this size would knit 18 rows after the armhole shaping before starting the slit neckline edging. But we want to lower it 1 inch or 8 rows like we just determined, right? So instead, you just subtract 8 rows from 18. So 18 minus 8 equals 10 rows. So that means instead of knitting 18 rows before you start the neckline edging, you'll only knit 10 rows in stockinette instead. So you're just starting your neckline edging 8 rows earlier. Now there's a part 2 to this. You lowered the start of the neckline edging, so you need to add those rows back once you're finished working the neckline edging so you don't accidentally make the upper body too short. So it just means our example size will work the neckline edging section 1 inch or our 8 rows longer than written. So where the pattern has you to continue neckline edging as established, you just do it for 8 more rows. So for our example size 41.25, the pattern has you work 30 rows as established, so instead you just do 38 rows. So let's look back at the actual sweater. So another way to put this, you worked 8 less rows before you started the neckline edging. So, about here. So you're going to work 8 more rows before you finish it, since everything will be 1 inch lower. So you're going to add back that inch that you took away from here and add it back here. And obviously, if you wanted the slit neckline to be higher instead of lower, you would just raise the start of the neckline and then work less rows before you finish it. So just working the opposite of what we did here. Another modification you might want to make is changing the length of the lower body of Wondrella. This is meant to be a fairly cropped vintage style sweater to work with high-waisted styles, but you might want it longer or shorter. So look at the overall length in the schematic first and then decide if you might want to lengthen it or shorten it a little bit. And let's talk about how you can do that. The body length of our example size 41.25 is 19 inches. We know that from the schematic measurements. But what if you know that's not going to be long enough for what you want? So let's say we want to lengthen it by about 1.5 inches. So we want the finished sweater to be 20.5 inches long instead. And by the way, if you're not sure about length, it really helps to find another sweater in your closet with a similar full bust width and check the length of that. So for our example, where we want to lengthen it 1.5 inches, you're going to want to change the length in the lower body to do this, meaning the part after the hem ribbing, which comes first. And you might actually be surprised at just how short the lower body is in Wondrella because of the deep batwing sleeves. You can figure out the length of the lower body by subtracting the armhole depth and the hem ribbing length from the overall body length in the schematic, or even easier, just look for the last line in the lower body section of the pattern where I tell you how long the piece is before starting the armhole shaping. For our size 41.25, that overall length of the pattern is 19 inches, but the length of the body between the hem ribbing and the armhole is only 4.75 inches. So we need to figure out how many rows 1.5 inches is. So we're back to calculating with our row gauge of 7.5 rows per inch. So we're going to multiply that by 1.5 inches that we want to lengthen the body, and that is 11.25. And again, you can't have a partial row, so we're going to round up or down again to the next closest even number. I'm just going to round up, and we're going to go here to 12. That means that we want to add 12 more rows in the lower body. So we can split this up however we want. Obviously, the easiest thing is just going to be to do 6 plain rows of stockinette before the waist shaping starts and 6 plain rows after it starts. So after our setup row in the lower body, instead of jumping right into the first increase row, instead you're going to knit 6 rows of stockinette, then you're going to do all your increase rows as written, and then before you divide the body, you're going to do 6 more rows of stockinette. And there you'll have lengthened your sweater by 1.5 inches. The great thing about this fast and easy method is that you can use this anywhere that you need to add a little bit of length. So you can do this on the sleeves too. For example, if you don't like bracelet length sleeves, you can easily lengthen these to full length. Just add a few rows of stockinette plain at the beginning of the sleeve and at the end of the sleeve before the cuff. So let's talk about ease. I talked about this briefly in the intro video, but like many sweaters from the 40s and 50s, Wondrella is designed to have negative ease at the full bust, meaning that it'll be smaller than your full bust actual size. About 1 to 3 inches negative ease is what I recommend in the pattern, but you could totally go a little bit more fitted if you prefer that look. It's also designed for about 0 inches of ease at the waist, but frankly, you could totally change that up. I've knit sweaters that have negative ease at the waist. I've knit sweaters with a little bit of positive ease at the waist to fit under, more layers and bulky waistbands. You can totally go either way. I've done both. Refer again to the schematic for the waist measurement for your size. And if your bust size falls between sizes for the waist, you might decide that you want to change the ease in the lower body. So if you do want to change the ease, here's how. Say the waist measurement is smaller than you want and you'd like it 2 inches bigger than is written in the pattern. Again, we'll take our example size 41.25, and in the pattern, that size is 35 inches at the waist. I know that from the schematic. So let's pretend that we want that to be 37 inches at the waist since we want it 2 inches bigger. You're going to find the number of stitches to cast on right at the beginning of the body, and for our size 41.25, that's 171 stitches. Remember, the number of stitches that you cast on doesn't include the button band, so it'll be a little bit smaller than the actual waist measurement if you divided this into our gauge. At the most basic level, you just want to cast on 2 inches more stitches than the pattern calls for that size, and then omit 2 inches of increases in the body shaping so you don't actually end up with a sweater that's 2 inches bigger than you want. So you need to figure out how many stitches that is. Just multiply the gauge of our pattern by the extra number of inches, so that's 5 stitches an inch by 2 inches equals 10. So we want to cast on 10 more stitches than the pattern says. But here's the catch. The body increases are worked 4 per row, 2 on each side seam. 10 is not divisible into 4, meaning 10 divided by 4 isn't a whole number. So we need to fudge this a little bit until we get a number that is divisible by 4. So we're just going to round up or down to the next even number that is divisible by 4. Like if you get 10 in our example here, round it up to 12 or down to 8. If you get 6, round it up to 8 or down to 4. You get the idea. It might mean the amount of ease isn't exactly what you want, but you got to get sort of in the neighborhood of that, and it'll be close enough to be fine. So back to our example, 2 inches is 10 stitches, so let's round that up to 12. That means we want to cast on 12 more stitches than the pattern calls for. And here's why we needed that number to be divisible by 4. We have to figure out how many less increase rows we want to work now. Remember, the body increases are worked 4 per row, so divide our 12 stitches by 4, so that equals 3. So what we need to do is we need to work 3 less increase rows between the bust and the waist than the pattern calls for. Now you can decide how you want to do this, but one idea is to just omit the first and the last increase rows and replace them with a plain stockinette row, and do the same for one somewhere in the middle. So for our size 41.25, the pattern has you increase every 6 rows 1 time, and then every 4 rows 7 times. So going by what I just said, you could omit that first increase row and work it in plain stockinette, so skipping that first increase, and then work maybe 3 of the 7 sets of your increase every 4 rows. Skip the increases in the next row and work it plain. And when you get to your last set of increases in the every 4 row section, skip that increase row 2 and work it plain. So like I said, just skipping 3 of the increase rows and switching them out to plain stockinette instead. There are many ways to do that, but that's one of the least fussy ones. Okay, here's my caveat about modifying the math in the pattern. There are multiple ways to do the things that I've just explained, and by no means am I saying that the way that I showed you is like the one true way. Even I approach things differently depending on my mood and how I'm kind of approaching the pattern. So feel free to explore what works best for you. Just use my tips as a guideline for working things out yourself. Okay, so we're basically done with math. Let's talk about design customizations that you might want to make for the neckline of Wondrella. I love to tweak both knitting patterns and sewing patterns, and so I try to write my knitting patterns with that in mind to give you all of the measurements and information and suggestions and tips so that you could try and do something similar if you'd like to too. The easiest customization that you can make is to omit the neckties. A couple of my test knitters did this and it looks great. Just don't knit them. Done. Easy. And in fact, you can see what it looks like. I'm just going to open this up a little bit. And it gives you a nice kind of casual look to the neckline, and it looks great too. And if you omit the ties, you can even close this with a little brooch. That looks really cute, very vintage, and you could wear it either way, whichever you'd like. One customization idea that I give in the pattern, which was popular with my test knitters, is changing up the collar shaping to a dagger collar instead, for my Wednesday Addams fans out there. For the dagger collar modification, like my fancy drawing, all you're really doing is working the collar with more increases at both ends and a little bit longer. Probably actually a little more like that. So after the pickup row for the neckline, instead of working your increases as written in the pattern every 4 rows to get this slight collar shaping at the front, you're going to work them every row. So yes, that's both on right side and wrong side rows. In the pattern, I recommend that you work 26 total collar rows for the Dagger collar as established like that, increasing at both ends of the collar on every row. But I think it's a good idea to try it on and see if you'd like to add additional length to the collar, because you might want it to be really dramatic, or you might want it to just be kind of subtle. So that's entirely up to you. So try it on and keep knitting until you're happy with it, then bind off loosely as written when you're satisfied with the length. And then when you wet block the cardigan, it's just going to be really important to gently stretch the collar into shape and pin out those points down towards the hem to get it into that nice sharp dagger collar shape that you're looking for. One more customization idea I give in the pattern is to convert the neckline into a little folded back wing collar. Now I haven't tried this with Wondrella, but I did something similar for this green cardigan, and this was my own design but isn't a knitting pattern. You basically just start increasing at the neck edge, which starts to form the beginnings of the wing collar. So this would be starting to shape out like a little triangle here if you did that. And when you get to the shoulder bind off, you would just bind off all of those increased stitches and then continue on with the 3-needle bind off as written in the pattern. Then when blocking, if you want, you can tack the wing collar back to the shoulder seam, which is what I did for this one. Kind of helps keep it into place, and I think this would be a great mod for a Wondrella. So those are some of the customizations that you can do for your Wondrella. The thing is, even as detailed as my patterns are, and providing some design and customization options in the pattern like I like to do, I hope you see my patterns as a guide and a jumping off point to have confidence in your own knitting to do your own thing. So you may have started knitting or are close to starting. I've been working on mine for a while, so you're going to have to ignore the fact that I'm further along on my Wondrella because I have to carefully orchestrate everything here for the knit along, which is not easy, let me tell you. Anyway, because I knit loose, I cast on one size smaller needles than my pattern calls for in order to get gauge. And I'm really loving my yarn so far, which I know is a little bit of a cheat since I've already knit with one of these 2 yarn bases before, but I'm really loving the combination of the mohair and the merino in this really cheerful blue. It's making me really happy. So let's talk about waist shaping in the lower body for a sec. After the ribbing, you'll start in on your waist shaping increases. In the pattern, I have you place markers at both sides, left and right, and that's how you know where to work the increases per the pattern instructions. Your increases will just start growing on both sides of the markers until you get to the armhole. If you're a newer knitter and you can't remember whether you're supposed to work a make one left, which is a left leaning increase, or a make one right, which is a right leaning increase, and you're not looking at the pattern, which tells you which to do and where, here are 2 tips. First, in this pattern for the side markers, the increases always point to the marker. So you work a make one left first, past the marker, and then work a make one right. And if you're the kind of person like me who likes to know why you're doing something and not just how to do it, the reason for the change in direction in those increases is because they follow the direction the body is being shaped at each side, which would be the side seams if this wasn't a seamless sweater. So you're following that direction with your increases. But second, literally nobody is looking at your waist shaping increases. Once you're finished, you're not even looking at them. So if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. There are plenty of things that you might find worth frogging in knitting, but don't let it be this. Take that from an anal retentive knitter who will frog many things for many reasons, but that's not one of them. You'll be surprised at how fast the lower body goes because the armholes are so deep since they're batwing sleeves. Not including the ribbing, most sizes are only going to knit about 4.5 inches or so until they get to the divide for the armhole. I mean, look at that. That's so short. So seriously, you'll be ready for our next knit along video in no time. I know today's video has been a lot and I couldn't cover absolutely everything even, or we would be here for like a month. So please join me in Slack if you have any questions on modifications or on the lower body now that you're starting your Wondrellas. In the description of this video, I'll link to our intro video for the timestamp on how to join Slack. I'm going to keep on knitting, and it's time for you to get cracking on your cardigans too if you haven't already. We'll meet back here in about 2 weeks for the next knit along video when we'll talk all about the upper body. Hope to see you in Slack in the meantime. Bye! And I just finished my row.